Yeah.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Fringe. I've been saying for a long time that Gen Z is a massive, massive problem when it comes to how society is going to function in the future. Now, I'm not just some old guy who doesn't get it. I mean, look, I was always told as a youth going into my teen years, my young adult years, that son, if you want to make your mark on the world, you got to start low at the company, work your way up, get your hands dirty, and eventually companies will promote from within. They'll pay for your education if they think you're doing a good enough job. Some jobs will even move you to the top throughout their ranks. My father did the same thing as he moved through his company before founding his own business. Now, I get that those things are the way that it used to happen. And quite honestly, after watching my wife in the corporate world for over 20 years, I can tell you that that isn't necessarily the way things work today. Most companies today is the opposite. It's how do we hire for the least amount of money? How can we undercut high paid employees? How can we save ourselves money so that we can get more houses, boats, cars, etc. and our bonuses? That's all irrelevant though, because Gen Z is one of those generations that I've often said, there are articles that come out that say they're lazy, they're difficult to work with, that they often get offended very easily, and it's of no surprise. But one thing that's funny here that I wanted to touch on today for a little bit of humor is that Gen Z adults will say, as much as they try to adult, are now getting to the point in their lives where they're having to pay taxes. They get out of the school system. They've been voting left-leaning politics their whole lives, whether you're in the US and voting for guys like Joe Biden, or you're in Canada voting for Justin Trudeau or Jagmeet Singh in the NDP, saying how fabulous and great they are. Well, they're starting to get a taste of the real world. Grab your popcorn, because it's sad, but it's good to watch at the same time, because it just shows you how bad it is. But these TikToks that have come out of Gen Z having to pay their taxes, a lot of this is American, but let's take a look. Let's have a few minutes of laughter here, and then I'm going to get into the reality of what's happening to this generation.
My dad just called me and said that I owe $480 for my tax return, because apparently if I just had $10 more taken out of my check every single week, then I wouldn't owe anything at all. And I said, what? What? I owe money for working? I owe money for working because, yeah. And also, Dad, that sounds like a scam. You are telling me that if only $10 more every week came out, then I wouldn't owe the $480?
So I just want to chime in for a second, because yes, that is the reality, that if you pay a little extra, sometimes you'll get a return back. This is the way the world works. This is the way taxes work. I've often said taxation is theft. I believe that. I've never seen our tax dollars go to something beneficial. But again, this is the shock of an entitled generation that has had everything given to them. The participation awards, the you'll never lose in life. This is kids learning as they get older that the system is designed to keep them down. It is not all sunshine and rain.
How was I supposed to know that? First of all, how am I supposed to know that? Second of all, how do I control that? And why is that a thing? How do you tell your employer, oh, take $10 more out of my paycheck every week so that I don't owe money when my tax return is done? What? This is strange. This is strange.
You owe us taxes. How much do I owe? You get to figure that out. Can I just pay what I want? No, we know exactly how much you owe, but you have to guess the number too. But what if I guess wrong? Jail.
I don't think there's anything wrong with adults living with their parents.
I don't think people understand. Right now, the average amount of money you have to make in order to live by yourself is $60,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid $30 an hour. Come here. And that is just to cover rent. That's not including furniture. That's not including other bills. That's not including car issues, right? If you were to put all that together, you'd have to make about $75,000 a year, meaning you have to get paid over $35 or $40 an hour. So if you know somebody that is making you feel bad because you live at home with their parents, unless they are making $40 an hour at their job, they're definitely lying to you about their living situation. They either live in a closet or they have 4 roommates. There's nothing wrong with staying with your parents right now, because at this moment in time, the new new generation, they can't save any money. The only thing going up is the cost of things.
So this guy makes a lot of good points, and he's essentially saying how people are underpaid, taxed too much, and can't afford to live on their own. We've seen this with Pierre Poilievre talking about axing the tax, building homes, making life more affordable for people. But this is the reality that this young generation who votes in these wacko policies doesn't consider. They vote on social justice issues. They think that by promoting green energy, by pushing for trans rights, even though people seem to all have the same amount of rights last time I checked, uh, this is what you end up with. You end up with wacko, woke hypocrisy. And of course, it's the old go woke, go broke. It also, again, comes from an entitled generation. And if you want to talk about entitled, the final clip of this goes over somebody's debt. It is going to alarm you, but it is going to show you just what my claims of this generation being entitled means.
Not the actual payment towards their lives.
I literally just did my taxes and I owe money. I call my dad, I'm like, did I do this right? He's like, I don't know, maybe you should pay someone to do your taxes for you. I said, does it sound like I'm in the position to be paying someone else to do my taxes when I already owe the government money? Oh my God. What is this scheme? God, are you there? It is me, Sarah. I hate being an adult.
You can't take responsibility. The future is just not there.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep thinking about the worst case scenario.
What, bankruptcy?
Yeah.
That'd be really tough to go through at 25, but...
Especially with my car, too. I think that's what's kind of stopping me from going that route, because...
You have $152,000, $27,000. Oh, $152,000. $152,027 in bad debt.
So again, we all know what bad debt is versus regular debt. This is a young 25-year-old girl on the verge of bankruptcy because you heard her say it. Well, I keep thinking about worst case scenario in my car, meaning she's going to lose her car if she files bankruptcy. She's more worried about her possessions than being out of debt. This is alarming. And this isn't the first time we've seen something.
That is a number that just shouldn't even be considered as a number for someone in your age. That's like you having a mortgage or something.
That is like having a mortgage. $150,000 US in debt. That's alarming, to say the least. What is really surprising about this generation again is the entitlement. I need the newest phone. I need the best clothes. I need my TikToks. I need a nice fancy car. I need designer purses and shoes. Or for men, it's I need Gucci, this and that, and Versace. I look, guys. I'm just saying what I see when I go out in public. I don't know anything about this stuff. My old man always told me that the thing with credit is that you should never spend money you don't have. And I've always tried to follow that rule. In fact, I didn't have my first credit card until I was 35 years old. And it was for the purpose of trying to build up credit to buy my first home. I don't think credit cards are a good thing. I don't think that anytime the bank wants to give you money, you have to understand it's a business. It's a business. Their job is to make money. They want you to pay interest every month. They want you to accumulate debt. They hate it. They hate people like me that every single month my credit card is used for minor expenses and then it is paid off within the 30 days before it accumulates interest. And I'll tell you right now, I've had my credit card offers go as high as $50,000 in limits simply because I'm good with my credit. I don't spend more than I have, and it's always paid to a zero balance. Now, I know that's difficult for a lot of people, but it should always be something we strive for when it comes to being responsible. Now, when we look at this video, I wanted to bring this up too because it says tax stress brings Gen Z to tears. 1 in 4 seek a therapist after filing their taxes. This is insane. Now, this is just, I don't know if the music in this video is copyrighted or not, so I'm just going to put it in mute, but we're just going to go through the points that are made in this video. Tax filing becomes taxing for Gen Z. Now, again, this is a US video. But again, think about what's going on in Canada. Same thing in Canada. We can't say it's any different, right? The cost of living is too high. 54% of Gen Z taxpayers end up in tears while filing their taxes. They can't cope with reality. They can't cope with reality. This is insane. 1 in 4 Gen Zers need therapy to recover from tax filing trauma. So I'm going to give a little dose of reality here. I'm just going to, as this is moving along. And one thing I want to get to is if your parents are not teaching you the reality of the real world, and if your kids aren't listening, there needs to be a middle ground. You have to find that resolve. This is basic training for the real world. I can tell you right now that when I moved out on my own for the first time, I had a basic job. My parents encouraged me to stay home and said, get a better job, get some money under your belt. I was in my late teens. I think I was 20 when I moved out for the first time. And they said, look, if you start out with a garbage job, you're going to go check to check. And while that teaches you a little bit about responsibility with money, you're not going to be able to get the experience you need to get better jobs. You're not going to be able to move up the ladder. I don't disagree with parents helping their children out to a certain extent, but not educating them on taxation, on how their lives are going to work moving forward. That's just 52% of taxpayers expect their parents to help with filing their taxes. Again, just like they expect them to help with down payments on houses. I hear it all the time. Survey recorded responses from 1,000 young U.S. citizens. So again, not a small number. This is insanity. Now, again, I'm curious what the numbers are in Canada. Of course, this is from Forbes. But here, Gen Z says documents are needed for tax filing. Induce anxiety. Again, this is a huge disconnect from reality. Oh, my parents never told me about this, or I didn't want to listen to them. I was too worried about independent womans, and I was more worried about my TikToks than the real world. Stress stems from confusion surrounding the tax filing process. Again, I blame the parents. I blame schools for not having this. When I took mathematics in school, actually it was either grade 11 or grade 12. It was a long time ago I was in school, so forgive me. They actually showed us how to, now this is going to make me sound really dated and old. They went through slips to make investments. They went through deposit slips. We had ATMs at the time. It was the 90s. People were still filling out deposit slips in the late 90s, but they went through all of that. They went through a basic tax return and what it meant to work. We had a work experience program at the school that would set students up with a part-time job in a better setting than what they would get working at, say, a McDonald's or anything like that. They had partners within the school to do those things and help earn high school credits, and also to teach you that when you do this work, every year you're going to have to file your taxes. And this is how you do that. This is what it means to pay taxes. You will likely owe the government depending on the level of income you bring in. They taught us about tax brackets at the time. Schools don't do this anymore, at least to my knowledge. Here it says many Gen Zers and millennials don't know when to file their taxes. Again, if the government doesn't have their money, that's probably a good thing. But it's just a lack of education. We're letting this generation down. Experts say that they seek professional help. Where is it here? They're seeking professional help to prevent stress during tax filing. Again, we need somebody to hold our hand. We need the tap on the bum, right? Taxes aren't the only financial issue for both generations. And again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you get the gist of it. This is a generation that's falling behind, that's failing, that's been left out of the system over schools that want to cheer about LGBTQ and they want to cheer about gender identity. They don't want to worry about the real world. We see this generation consumed with screens like the one you're watching this video on. We see them locked into the internet, worried about Tinder and dating sites, rather than worried about, again, bills, savings, investments, or loans. Often when you talk to anybody who deals in investments, they call this generation the ninja generation, meaning that they don't have anything. Most ninjas, again, don't carry a plethora of supplies. So this generation doesn't have any GICs. They don't have RSPs. They don't have investments. They don't have outside personal investments to try to boost their portfolios or the money in order to do that. Again, they're stuck at home living with their parents. In fact, I can tell you in this household, we recently discussed that if things don't improve, maybe we have to move to a town where things are more affordable. Not for us, but what happens when our children get older? build up within a community, get to know people within that community and want to stay, and they can't afford somewhere to live. Something needs to give, and it's not just the government, but again, the parents, the schools. I feel things need to change. But a little bit of laughter at the beginning of this video too, I'm not going to lie, when it comes to the breakdown of this generation not understanding basic things like tax. If they think this is the tip of the iceberg, well, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a Gen Zer, because things are only going to get worse. Wait till you handle divorce or or children and the stress that comes with that. Let me know what you guys think down below. Did you enjoy watching them freak out? Did you get a little bit of what I'm trying to say? It's like a feel good, feel bad at the same time. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If it's your first time here, I hope this video has earned your subscription. Make sure to hit that. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about that one girl saying, I filed my taxes. Hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on your bell for notifications. Join us live here on the channel every Friday night for Friday Night Fringe, where we go over everything that's happened in the past week, everything coming up in the week ahead, and some back and forth. Can't stop laughing within the community. It's always great to hear what you guys have to say outside of making these videos, and I look forward to seeing you each and every week on those live streams. It's definitely the highlight of my week, and I look forward to seeing you all there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, and have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you on the next one.